Alright, volume test, like usual, blah blah blah. Alright, good enough. Hey guys. I know I said I'd stream last Saturday, but here's what happened, okay? First of all, if you're in my Discord, you already know. Oh? Okay, that was dust. Anyway, if you're in my Discord, you already know, okay? Basically what happened last Saturday was I couldn't fall asleep until like 12. Okay, I know my laptop's being. I'll get to that in a second. That's topic 2, okay? Topic 1. Topic 1, okay? Topic 1 is the fact that I didn't stream last Saturday. So I didn't stream last Saturday. Why? Because I literally could not fall asleep. Like, I laid in bed. Okay, so I have to go to bed like pretty early because I take so long to fall asleep. I laid in bed from like 9 p.m. till like 12:30 before I finally fell asleep. And by the time and then when I woke up at like freaking like 6 or 6, I don't know, something insane, okay? Because I'm awful at sleeping. We know this. So I didn't stream last week because I was way too tired. And if you're in my Discord, you'd already know that. Why is there dust floating all over the place? I swear my room's not that dusty. This is... Okay. Anyway, and the fact that's like on camera too. Ooh, okay, anyway. I swear my room's not that dusty, okay? Anyways, so that's topic 1. Topic 2, update on how my laptop's going. So for some reason, I realized a few nights ago, because I was laying in the pitch dark with my blackout curtains, and I went, huh, there's a little light coming from my desk. Turns out my laptop has decided that it's gonna keep, you know how like you have like the power, like where you plug in your laptop, there's a little light, and then the light like tells you if it's charged or whatever, right? My laptop has decided to keep that light on 24/7 even when it's completely shut down. I don't know why. So because of that, when I turned on my laptop today, okay, wait, okay, go back a little bit. So my laptop, this old one, is now at the point where it needs to be plugged in 24/7 to turn on, okay? Like she's on life support at this point. Okay, so when I turned on my laptop today, it was like, I'm at 1% and I don't know why. And I was like, it's because you have the freaking power light on 24/7 now. So right now it's at 5%, it's plugged in, and the fan is really, really loud. But we're just gonna have to deal with it, okay? Because I've already basically demoted my old laptop to streaming only, and this is all she has. This is all she has left, okay? And we're gonna let her have it until she stops working. So everyone's just gonna have to deal with the loud fan, okay? Topic 3, because I guess I've decided we have topics now today. Topic 3, why am I not streaming Mutazione and Sims today? Well, to put it simply, I wanted to talk about Epic the Musical. I've been wanting to talk about Epic the Musical, but I was waiting for Ithaca Saga to come out, which is the last saga, and then it did. So me and my little over 20 pages of notes here are going to be talking about not Ithaca Saga. Well, yes, Ithaca Saga. We're going to be talking about Epic the Musical today, okay? Next week, I promise. I Spider-Man swear, okay? I Spider-Man swear, okay? That next Saturday, probably, unless something comes up, okay? I Spider-Man swear that unless something comes up where I can't stream, we're gonna stream Mutazione and Sims next week, okay? Unless something comes up. Like if I, again, don't sleep well or something. But if I stream next week, I Spider-Man swear it's gonna be Mutazione and Sims, okay? Okay. With all of that housekeeping out of the way, let's get into the fun part. So for anyone who is new around here, which most of you are, I have a series called Going on a Tangent. This is the 3rd episode of said series because the series takes a lot of preparation time. It's basically where I pick a topic and I yap about it for like an hour and a half. So this is like a perfect stream to put on in the background if you're doing something. I also have like a spin-off series of this called Tiny Tangents where I talk about multiple things, but I don't really do that. I don't really do that one. This one I would do more of if it didn't take so long, because these pages of notes took me like a solid like maybe 3 days to type up. Not a full 3 days. Like I had other stuff I had to work on, but like this took a few hours, okay? But yeah, so the other fun part about my Going on a Tangent series, not only the fact that the acronym is GOAT, and goats are cool animals. We love goats around here. I've fed goats before. I've had goats try to eat my jeans. That's not the point. Anyway, the other fun thing is I like to make little fun. Oh wait, no, this is my fourth episode. Okay, I've done one about ADHD, one about The Secret History, one about Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra. Which honestly, I might have to do a second round of that. And then now we're talking about Epic the Musical. But the other fun thing about this series is I like to make little fun backgrounds. Except I don't have a green screen, so it just looks really funny. Today I don't have one background. I don't have two backgrounds. I don't have five backgrounds. I have 9. I have 9 backgrounds for us today, one for each saga, okay? And that also took me a hot minute. And I put a lot of effort into them, a lot of detail, a lot of thought went into each background. And I hope that you guys appreciate the amount of time I put into it. I am a pro at graphic design, as you will see. But yeah, but before we get into that, okay? Here's what we're doing today, okay? First, I have my notes here, okay? I'm trying to decide if I should do the intro like actually how I wrote it or if I should go off of it a little bit. Okay, first of all, spoiler warning, like always. Whenever I do these yap sessions, there's always spoiler warnings, okay? We are literally going through the entire musical today, okay? So there is 100% spoilers. First of all, actually no, yeah, okay, there's gonna be spoilers, okay? So if you want to give Epic the Musical a listen first and then come back, I will not be offended, okay? The VOD will be there. The stream will be on YouTube. The VOD will be here on Twitch for like a week. That's all the places it'll be, but it's fine. You can come back. It's okay. I won't be offended. VODs exist for a reason. That's one of our slogans here on the Isabel Choose channel. I don't think that's what a slogan is, but you know, safety, education, and the fact that VODs are always there, unless they're not. Like if YouTube goes down or something, I don't know. But as long as YouTube is up, my VODs will be there. Second, I have to give some content warnings, just like I did with The Secret History, okay? This musical has dark stuff because it is based on Greek mythology, and Greek mythology is pretty dark at times. So content warnings for violence, death, graphic blood and gore, SA, and grape. I have to say grape because like algorithms and stuff, and you know I'm gonna be uploading clips to TikTok and Instagram, so we're calling it grape here. You know what I mean, okay? So yeah, just keep that in mind. I think that's all the content warning. That's all I wrote down. So hopefully that's it. There might be other stuff, I don't know, but just keep in mind, okay? So hang on, my friend just texted me. I'm trying to get famous. Please leave me alone. No, okay. I'm kidding. Okay. No. Hang on. I see her typing bubbles. I was complaining to her about my laptop. That's why she's texting me. I'm talking about you texting me live right now. Anyway, while she does her little typey bubbles, we'll continue, okay? So, for anyone who doesn't know what Epic is, I'm gonna give you just a little intro to Epic before we get into things. So, watch, she's about to call me on Discord and be like, I'm kidding. No, she's not. Okay. So, what is Epic? So Epic is a retelling of the Odyssey. And if you don't know what this is why I wrote notes, okay? This is why I have 20 pages of notes, because I have to write very detailed or I'm going to go off on things I'm not supposed to. Okay. So Epic the Musical is a retelling of the Odyssey as a fully sung through musical concept album by Jorge Rivera Herons. I don't know how to say his name. I just probably said that in the most American way. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it is inspired by anime and video games, which is super cool as a gaming streamer, you know? Like, okay, anyway. And if you don't know what the Odyssey is, do not fret, I will explain that as well. The Odyssey is an ancient Greek epic, which is basically just like a super long poem, attributed to the ancient Greek poet Homer. And it tells the story of Odysseus and his 10-year journey home to his wife Penelope and their son Telemachus after the 10-year Trojan War. So Epic itself, like I said, is split into 9 sagas, which is why we have 9 fun, well-designed backgrounds all by me today. And so my history with Epic, I guess, is the next thing I'm supposed to talk about. So I've been aware of Epic since the first Saga's release, but I didn't get into it until literally last October, right before Vengeance Saga was released, which is the second to last saga. So I'm pretty glad about it, because then I didn't need to wait as long for Ithaca Saga, because like when I first got into it I was already so impatient for Ithaca Saga, and Vengeance Saga wasn't even out yet. I do have a little bit of FOMO for missing out on the other releases, like the other watch parties and stuff, but I'm literally always late to these things. Like this isn't new, okay? I'm always late to the cool trendy thing, musical, whatever. I'm always late, okay? This isn't new. Sorry, my laptop's just just breathe. Okay. So how did I get into Epic? I'm so glad you asked. Well, basically, the song Suffering, right? If you don't know it, we'll talk about it. Okay, don't worry, we'll get to it. But the song Suffering, animatics for Suffering, literally just took over my For You page. Like, every other video was, I will take the suffering from you. And despite, so that's what got me into it, okay? I was like, I need to know how the rest of the song goes, and I want to see this musical, because I knew about this musical, but I didn't really, like, get into it. I don't know why. And then, despite only listening since October, if you follow me on Instagram, you know this, Jorge was my top artist. I was in his top 4% of listeners, even though I just started listening in October. To be fair, I did not like the Spotify Wrapped this year. They were like using AI and stuff, and I was like, ugh, it was not good. But yeah, the fact that I started listening in October and Spotify Wrapped came out in December, and I was already top 4% of Jorge listeners is crazy. Anyway, so what are we talking about today? Why do I have 20 plus pages of notes? I must be doing some crazy in-depth analysis about Epic the Musical and all the cool musical things, right? Wrong. We are not going to be talking a lot about motifs or the instrumentals, because I'm not very good at that. If you would like, because there's a lot of really cool stuff, like little things and details in the instrumentals and with like the lyrics and stuff. If you would like to know all of that stuff, Jorge has a whole bunch of videos on that. You can go watch them. They're like on his TikTok, on his YouTube and everything. There are a whole bunch of other cool people online who have also talked about all of this. I am not one of those cool people who can do that. So today we're actually literally just going to be going over, I'm literally just rambling the entire plot. I'm just explaining the whole plot of the musical by song and rating each song. So this is Epic the Musical explained by me. And then I'm going to give my ratings for each song as well. But the ratings are purely off of vibes as well. I have kind of logical reasons for them, but they're mainly just vibes. And, like, the way I see it is how skippable I think the song is if it came up on a playlist. Like, if I shuffled one of my playlists and the song came up, how skippable is it? That's basically how I rated everything. So yeah. But I need somewhere to let this out, and this series is what lets me let my hyperfixations out, okay? So I need to release the demons, you know? Anyways, we're also going to talk very briefly about if I think Epic should be more accurate to the Odyssey or not, because that's a discussion I've seen people having online, and I just want to put my little 2 cents in, because I have thoughts on some things. And then finally, I'm going to reveal my ranking for each saga, also with minimal explanation, because it's also mainly off of vibes. And just one last disclaimer, my opinions for everything in this stream are my own, and you are more than welcome to disagree with them. That's perfectly fine. That's how opinions work, you know, to each their own. However, we keep things respectful around here, okay? We have discussions here, not arguments, okay? Unless you're my sister, then we probably will start. We have argued on stream before. Not actually. We've like bickered on stream. Anyway. Okay, so let's get into it with our first background, if I set things up correctly. I think so. No, I did not. Oh, I put it here. Okay, well, hang on. Ignore this. This is, guys, you're getting a behind the scene look. I forgot I made a tab specifically for this. Okay, here we go. Oh. Wait, no, wait, guys, just look away, okay. There, okay. So the first saga in Epic is called, the Troy Saga, and it's basically like the very, very end of the Trojan War in Troy, when they first get on the little boat to start their adventure home, okay? I am here with my horse. I forget what I named him. It was something very stupid, but I don't remember what I named it. We also have a little lotus eater down there. By the way, any art in this, I tried to credit the, or I not even tried, I did. I credited the artist for all the art in here. So just so you're aware that it's there. And if I miscredited anyone or anything, please let me know. I tried my best. I didn't even try, but I like went and like skimmed through all the live streams and stuff to make sure I figured out who the art was for. Anyway, I credited all the artists to the best of my ability. Oh, my other friend just snapped me. Hang on. I have to respond to this. Kiki. Okay. She was snapping me back, so I don't need to snap her back. It was for streaks, you know. I have streaks with a singular person. Anyway. So yeah, so I credited all the artists. If I got anything wrong, please let me know. Because I hate miscrediting people for their hard work. Anyway, so this is, here we are. We're actually on our way to Ithaca right now. Me, my horse, whose name I forgot, and the Lotus Eater. I'm gonna name the horse Squeaky, I've decided. So me, Squeaky, and me, Squeaky, and the Lotus Eaters, we're on our way to Ithaca right now. You can see we have a compass to help us out. So yeah. So let's get into it. So we open with the Troy Saga, which, like I said, is very tail end of the Trojan War, right before they leave to go back to Ithaca. So the first song in the Troy Saga is The Horse and the Infant. This is not Squeaky. Squeaky was not involved in this. Yeah, so just so you know, Squeaky's not the horse, okay? So The Horse and the Infant. So this song, okay, this very clearly establishes the beginning of Odysseus's character arc. So like his arc for the whole musical, where basically, like, you know, he's a good person. He doesn't want, oh, maybe I should give you a little more context. I kind of just say something here and I'm realizing maybe I should give you more context. So basically, he's like, oh, war, yeah, we win, whatever. And then Zeus, the king of gods, you know, thunder god guy. That's not okay. Zeus comes down and he's like, hey bestie, here's a vision. You're gonna get stabbed one day. And Odysseus is like, huh? And then he's like, yeah, see this baby over here? This baby's gonna stab you if you let it grow up. So you gotta stop the baby before it can do that. But Odysseus, like I said, this is the very beginning of his character arc. He's a good guy. He doesn't want to yeet the baby off the tower, okay? Like Zeus is saying. Zeus is saying you gotta yeet the baby off the tower, and he's like, I don't want to. I don't want to throw this baby off the tower. That's mean. That's so mean. The song also establishes how the mortals couldn't say no to the gods, and like, you're especially not gonna say no to Zeus, the king of the gods, you know what I mean? So Zeus is like, you gotta throw this baby off the tower, and he's like, but do I though? And Zeus is like, yeah, you do, babe. Yeah. Speaking of Zeus, for Zeus, when he like comes in to like signal that he's here symbolically, Jorge uses like that eagle sound that everyone associates with, you know, like the America, like, I don't know why I'm going like this, but that eagle sound. But it's actually, okay, this is a fact that I think everyone knows, but it's actually a red-tailed hawk. Hawks do not represent Zeus. Eagles do. Hawks actually, I think, represent Apollo. I could be wrong though. Anyway, but it doesn't matter because it sounds really cool and everyone associates that sound with eagles already anyway. That's just a fact that I hear and I go, that's a hawk, because that's just how my brain works. And now I've decided that's how your brain will work as well. So this is me pushing that onto you. So The Horse and the Infant, I rate this song, I rate it 4 totally normal horse statues out of 5. And yeah. And Squeaky can vouch for that horse statue because Squeaky's a horse, so he knows what like a normal horse statue looks like. So the second song is called Just a Man. Hang on. I have to okay. The second song is called Just a Man, and it's basically where Odysseus is like, he's like holding this baby and he's like debating if he should drop it off the wall or not, essentially. And oh, my friend says hi stream. Should I tell her why aren't you watching? Where's the, oh here. Okay, I couldn't find the emoji. Okay, so basically Odysseus is holding this baby and he's like this song is him debating if he should drop the baby off the wall essentially. And the song is basically just like, you know, it's saying like he's just a dad. He's been separated from his son for 10 years, and this baby is reminding him of his own little baby son that he left behind in Ithaca. And again, this establishes the beginning of his arc. He's just a man. He doesn't want to drop this baby off the wall. And this song, okay, I know I said I wasn't talking motifs. I talk motifs a little bit, okay? This song is when we first hear the when does a man become a monster motifs. So there's like multiple. So it's like when does it, I'm not gonna list them all, but this is when we first hear the when does a man become a monster motifs, which is like the theme for the entire musical is him becoming a monster. You'll see what I mean. And then after debating for a while, he drops the baby off the wall because you can't say no to the gods. So after being like, I can't do it, I'm just a man, blah blah blah, who's trying to get home, he drops the baby off the wall. And it, yeah, so the baby's no longer a concern of his. Now, despite the darkish end, it is a very beautiful song, and it's also a very important song, okay? Again, this sets up the theme for the entire musical of a man becoming a monster. What makes a man become a monster, right? And also, Odysseus killing that baby is literally like me killing a fly compared to all the other stuff he does in this musical, okay? You'll see what I mean. So, for also, something funny, I've seen so many people online be like, I sing this song to my baby as a lullaby, and then everyone in the comments is like, that's ironic, and they're like, I know, but it's the only thing that will get my baby to go to sleep. Anyway, I love this song. I rated it 5 white Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons out of 5, which is a very normal rating to have. Okay, next we have the song Full Speed Ahead, okay? In this we meet Odysseus' second-in-command, Eurylochus, and his boyfriend, Polites. Polites is not actually canonically his boyfriend, but it does feel like a and they were roommates situation, okay? You know what I mean? Anyway, so Eurylochus acts as the voice for the rest of the crew, so whenever, like, the crew complains about something, it's Eurylochus being like, hey, this is what the crew's saying, you know? Yeah, basically, yeah, because, yeah. So Eurylochus acts as the voice for the rest of the crew throughout the entire musical. I see Polites as the person who reminds Odysseus that he's human. I don't know if this is Jorge's intention. I can't remember if he ever said that anywhere. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but I'm not about to state things as fact if I'm not sure that they are. So, but that's how I see Polites. I don't know if that's supposed to be the point. Maybe it is and I'm just being silly, but that's fine. But basically in the song, okay, the crew's like, uh-oh, we need food. And Odysseus is like, hey, let's follow those birds to land. Little does he know, they're following the wrong birds. Why? Because they end up in the land of the lotus eaters. They end up in the land of the lotus eaters, which is like gajillion miles in the opposite direction of Ithaca, okay? So yeah, they really should not have followed those birds. They should have picked different birds to follow. Anyway, I give this 4, we're up, we're off, and away we goes out of 5 because that's my favorite part of the song when they're like, we're off, and away we go. Anyway, out of 5. So, 4 out of 5. Next song is my favorite song in the saga. It is Open Arms. So basically, they get to the land of the lotus eaters, right? And Odysseus and Polites go off to go look for food. It's like a little date or something, I guess. I don't know. For context, just for anyone who doesn't know what a lotus eater is, basically, or like what a lotus is, essentially, it's like a little fruit, like what this our little friend here is eating. And if you eat it, you forget about your life, and it makes you want to stay on that land, like island, forever, and just eat lotus forever. So they're like, we need food, and the lotus eaters come up and they're like, we have food, and then Odysseus threatens them. Because, you know, he's just been at war for 10 years, so he's a little traumatized. So he threatens them, and Polites is like, hey, man, don't do that. Greet the world with open arms. We don't need to do this, you know? Like, and he basically tells Odysseus, like, it's okay to ask for help. Like, you should try greeting the world with, like, or approaching the world with kindness and optimism. And this is what I mean by Polites like reminds Odysseus that he's human, right? And yeah, and then basically Polites is like, hey, Lotus Eaters, where can we find food? And they're like, you can go to this scary cave. And he goes, oh, a cave? Which way is that? And they're like, east. And he goes, okay, we'll go to this cave. Because I guess they just didn't hear them say, I guess there was only one Lotus Eater. It was like, scary cave. But it's like, yeah, we'll just go to this random cave to go get food, I guess. But I guess it makes sense, though. They're in a survival situation. Anyway, so, yeah, again, this is my favorite song in the saga. I'm the directionally challenged Lotus Eater. When they're all like east, there's this one Lotus Eater that goes that way. I'm that one because I can't direction. Anyway, that's why we have the compass helping us out here. I give that song 5 nom noms out of 5. Noms, whatever. The next song and the final song in this saga is Warrior of the Mind, where we are introduced to the Athena, okay? The goddess of wisdom and master of war. The Athena. That's right, okay? And we're also introduced to her special ability, Quick Thought. Here's where the video gamey stuff comes in a little more, okay? So Quick Thought is essentially Athena's special ability as a goddess, where she basically like stops time and she pulls someone into like her little Quick Thought realm. It's like a big hourglass. It's really cool. And then she has like full conversations with them and time like doesn't pass, right? That's why it's called Quick Thought, because she's able to like have these conversations with them in like seconds. And basically like in this song, she explains how she had like a magic boar test, and Odysseus was the one who passed the test by killing the boar. And then we flash back to when Athena first reached out to Odysseus, and she's like hiding in the trees, and then Odysseus like senses she's there, and he's like, show yourself, I know you're watching me. And then he's like, I can see you. And she's like, how can you see through my spell? And then he's like, I got him, because he was lying, because he could just sense that she was there. But like, so he was like, I'm just gonna say I can see them, and then they'll show themselves. And they did. I showed the song to my sister, and he was like, show yourself. And my sister went, show yourself, like frozen. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything. Anyway, so I just said anyway like 3 times in a row. Athena offers to be Odysseus's mentor. She's like, I think you're cool and you're very smart and very good at things. I would like to be your mentor. And Odysseus is like, oh my gosh, besties. And Athena's like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, you know. And then they get on with it. That's basically the song. So for the longest time, I thought the song was set in the present. Like, not like present like now, but present in the musical. Like he was on the ship with this crew and Athena just suddenly rolls up. And I knew that he killed the boar when he was younger, but I just thought Athena didn't explicitly reach out to him until this very moment. And then at the end of the song, Athena's like, don't disappoint me. And I was like, he disappoints you in 2 songs, but okay. Yeah, and then I watched the Vengeance Saga watch party, and I learned that it was a flashback, and it was young Odysseus. And I was like, that makes a lot more sense than what I was thinking. Anyway, I give this song 5 high fives out of 5. And we're on to the second saga, the Cyclops saga. I have a background for this too. Like I said, I have one for every saga. Okay, let me get myself situated. All right. Make sure I'm sat. Okay. All right, so the second saga is called the Cyclops saga. As you can see, we have Mr. Polyphemus here. I am going to be a Polyphemus defender. I know I'm sitting in the judge's chair, but who cares, okay? I'm going to be a Polyphemus defender here, okay? So here's the story. Let me lay it out for you, okay? Let me lay it out for you, okay? So Mr. Polyphemus here, he's a Cyclops, as you can see. And he was just minding his business, okay? He was taking care of his sheep, who were his only friends. He was chilling out, you know, he was doing his thing. And then Odysseus, okay, Mr. Odysseus of Ithaca over here, and some of his crew, they just like roll up, trespass on his property, and then murder a bunch of his sheep. Okay, so this rightfully upsets Polyphemus. And so he's like, I'm gonna kill you because you killed my friends, you know, like an eye for an eye, very, you know, I would argue reasonable reaction. Um, and Odysseus is just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Here's some wine in return, because that's definitely equivalent to seeing your friends get murdered. And Polyphemus is like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. What's your name, by the way? Just, you know, while you're in my house, I don't even know how you got in, but while you're in my house, I might as well know your name, right? So what's your name? And Odysseus, okay, he has a little big brain moment, okay? And he says, my name is Nobody. And Polyphemus is like, Nobody? Your parents must hate you. But anyway, I have a gift for you too. And Odysseus is like, oh my gosh, that's so great. I'm so glad we see eye to eye. And Polyphemus is just like, yes, you shall be the final man to die. And Odysseus is like, nope. Yeah, and then he starts swinging. Okay, sorry, I hit my mic. And then he starts swinging, and we go into the next song. So I gave this song, vibe-wise, I gave this song 3 lawyers out of 5 for Polyphemus's court case against Odysseus and crew. And they do win the case, don't worry. So the next song is called Survive, and this is my least favorite song in the entire musical. Like, I like this song, but it's my least favorite song. Basically, in the song, Odysseus is like, we just need to kill him, guys, and then our journey is over, okay? And then Polyphemus pulls out a club, and bam, Polites is dead. And then bam, 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 more of Odysseus' crew are dead. Is dead. I don't know grammar. Okay. More of Odysseus' crew is dead. And then Polyphemus passes out, because Odysseus spiked his wine with Lotus, which we don't technically learn till the next song, okay? But, I'm just gonna mention it now. So he passes out because Odysseus spiked his wine with Lotus, which is being added to Odysseus' charges, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, that's that song, and I give it 2 pancakes out of 5. So the next song is called Remember Them, and essentially the crew, okay, they took his club while he was unconscious. They took Polyphemus's club and they turned it into a spear, and then they take it and they stabbed him in the eyeball, okay? They take this giant spear and they just stab it in his eyeball. And, okay, this is, side note, sometimes when I sing the song, I accidentally say turn it to a giant sphere instead of spear, and that would be very ineffective. I just apparently felt the need to say that because I wrote it down. Also, for the animatic reference for this song, Jorge used the drill from Avatar: The Last Airbender. That also has nothing to do with anything. I just got excited when I saw that because I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's absolutely nothing to do with anything. Anyways, so the Polyphemus is like, ah! And then other Cyclops come running. And Eurylochus is like, oh my god, there's more than one? It's like, yeah, I guess. But anyway. So Polyphemus like screams and the other Cyclops come running. The other Cyclops come running and they're like, who hurts you, you know? And Polyphemus is like, this is where Odysseus' big brain moment comes in, okay? Because Polyphemus is like, nobody hurt me. And the Cyclops are like, okay, drama queen, bye. Like, don't disturb us again. Like, boy who cried wolf or whatever. And they leave. And then the crew sneaks out using the sheep. Like, okay, in the musical they just say, let's grab the sheep and away we go. In the Odyssey, they like tie themselves underneath the sheep and then they like, yeah, anyway. And then Athena shows up again, and she pulls Odysseus into quick thought, and she's like, you have to finish the job, like he's still alive, you can't just leave him there blind. And Odysseus is like, no, we've done enough, I won't kill him, which is ironic considering what he was saying in the previous song, but anyway. And he's like, the world needs more mercy, I'm gonna tell him that I'm his darkest moment and scream my full legal name and home address at him instead. And in doing so, he basically like quadruples the time it takes for him to get home. That's probably not actually how long. I don't know. I'm not doing the math. Okay, we're gonna say quadruples, whatever. So yeah, I give the song 3 spheres out of 5. The last song in the saga is called My Goodbye. It's my favorite song in the saga. Basically, Athena pulls Odysseus into quick thought and like tells him off, and she's like, "This isn't what I trained you to be. What are you doing? Like, you just need to end him, bro. It's not that hard. And Odysseus is like, I'm literally just a guy, and like, you can lend me whatever title you want, but there's only so much I can manage. And Athena's like, so you're wasting my time. And Odysseus is like, and you're alone. And Athena's like, and you're just a man. And then she leaves. So yeah. I don't know whose side I'm on in this, because like Odysseus like just lost one of his best friends, and he's trying to uphold like Polites' belief. He's trying to uphold Polites' beliefs in humanity, and then Athena's like calling him weak for that. And then Athena was just trying to get Odysseus to do what he needed to do to get home, and he just wasn't listening. I feel like I'm a little more on Odysseus' side, but overall, I think they could have handled this a little more like adults, but that's okay. Things happen, you know? I give that song 5 doors out of 5. Now we have, I don't know, oh, my notes. Next we have the Ocean Saga, okay? So we're gonna bid Mr. Polyphemus here adieu. Goodbye, sir. We're gonna move into the next saga, which is the Storm Saga. Hang on. Oh. As you can see here, I am winning a game of Uno. Yeah, anyway. Uno. Okay, I win. So the first song in the Ocean Saga, oh, I need to face this way. The first, I'm not doing that the whole time, that's good. Okay, the first song in the Ocean Saga is called Storm. And in the song, there's a storm. So I write this song, no, I'm kidding. Okay, so basically in the song, Eurylochus is like, we're all gonna die! And Odysseus is like, not yet, baby girl. Don't worry about it. Just have everyone follow me, and we'll be okay. So, just for context, there's a storm in this song because Polyphemus is actually Poseidon's son. That's right. So basically, this happens off screen, by the way. This happens off screen. When after Odysseus and crew left, Polyphemus like called Poseidon up. I can't talk. Polyphemus like called Poseidon up, and he was like, Dad, this dude just stabbed me in the eye and said he's my darkest moment. His full name is Odysseus of Ithaca, and he's the king of Ithaca. Can you do something, please? And Poseidon's like, don't worry about it, son. I got you. Don't worry. So he sends that storm to like get him. But it doesn't work. Why does it not work? Because Odysseus and crew, they come across a floating island in the sky. Like, it is an island in the air. Just in the sky, okay? And Odysseus is like, everyone grab a harpoon, chuck it at the island, okay? So that's what they do. They all take their harpoons, they chuck it at the island, it sticks to the island, and then that anchors everyone while the storm passes. And that's the end of that song. I give that song 3 harpoons out of 5, okay? That brings us to our next song called Luck Runs Out. Okay, so Odysseus is like, I'm gonna climb on these harpoon ropes. I'm gonna climb these harpoon ropes up to the island and go talk to the god who's up there. And Eurylochus is like, absolutely not, that's dangerous. And Odysseus is like, haha, you're not my mom. And Eurylochus is like, you rely on wit, and one day your luck's gonna run out and more people are gonna die. And Odysseus is like, I appreciate the feedback, okay? But I promise we'll be home soon. Because keep in mind, this conversation is happening in front of the whole crew. Okay, so like they're all listening in, like, oh my gosh, Eurylochus is right. Like the captain, all he does is rely on wit. Like, it's not gonna last, you know? Like, what's gonna happen when our luck runs out? So that's why Odysseus is like, thank you for the feedback. If you'd like, you can, you know, put that through HR or something. We'll figure it out. But I promise we'll be home soon, okay? Don't worry about it. And then he's like, can I talk to you real fast, by the way? Just about completely separate topic. Just something else, okay? So he pulls Eurylochus aside, and he's like, Eurylochus, I am the mom on the ship, and as long as you are standing on my boat, you are following my rules. And Eurylochus is like, fine. And then Odysseus leaves. I give that song 4 Macarenas out of 5. The next song is called Keep Your Friends Close, featuring Aeolus, the god of the wind. Aeolus in the actual story is, I believe he's male, and I think he's just a king. I don't know if he's actually a god. I can't remember. I just read the anyway. But in the musical, Aeolus is the queen you see right here, okay? So Odysseus goes to Aeolus, and he's like, hey, help a bestie out. And she's like, sure, for a price. And Odysseus is like, a price? And the Winians are like, death, death, death. And he's like, I know you. And then Aeolus, I almost said Ulysses. Aeolus is like, take this wind bag, do not open it, sleep with what I open. And Odysseus is like, okay. And he gets back to the ship, and the crew's like, what's in the bag? Let's see what you've got. And actually not yet, but they're like, what's in the bag? What do you have there? And the Winians are like, treasure. And Odysseus is like, what? And then they're like, open the bag, let's see what you got. And he's like, we cannot open this bag, guys, okay? He's like, listening ears, everybody listening ears, we do not open this bag, okay? We keep our hands to ourselves, we do not open this bag. And then he proceeds to stay up for 9 days straight. He stays awake for 9 days straight to make sure nobody opens this bag. And obviously, you aren't supposed to be awake that long, okay? I think it's like day 3 or something is when you start hallucinating. So he hallucinates Penelope and Telemachus. Well, except he doesn't know what Telemachus looks like, but he like hears Telemachus. But he hallucinates Penelope. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, why can't you let me hug you? Like, I just want to see you again, blah, blah, blah. And then hallucination Penelope's like, wake up, they're opening the bag, wake up. And it was true, some stinky poo-poo was opening the bag, okay? So the bag's open now. And Odysseus is like, I asked you to do one thing. And now who knows where we'll end up, because this wind bag, they released the storm inside the bag, and now they're like flying all over. There's waves everywhere. They're flying. Yeah. Anyway, and then so he's like, I don't know where we're gonna end up. Where are we going? And Aeolus is like, you're heading to the land of the giants. Good luck. Can't help you because you did the one thing I told you not to. And so Odysseus is like, help me close the bag. And Eurylochus is like, but sir, it's too late. And Odysseus is like, do you really want to argue with me right now, young man? So they managed to close the bag, and then the song ends with Poseidon rising up out of the sea going, oh, Odysseus of Ithaca, do you know who I am? And Odysseus is like, no. I'm kidding, he doesn't do that. But in my head, after that part, I'm always like, no, I don't know who you are. I give that song 5 Winions out of 5. And that brings us to our final song in the saga, Ruthlessness. Yeah, Ruthlessness. That's what I wrote. And then I doubted myself for a second. I was like, is it ruthless or ruthless? I'm gonna check. I'm questioning myself now. I'm pretty sure it's Ruthlessness. But I'm questioning myself. Let me check. Okay, it is Ruthlessness. It is. We're good. Ruthlessness is mercy upon us. Okay, so we get to the song Ruthlessness, which has one of the sickest openings in the entire musical. Like, there's like a piano, and then it's you need to listen to it. It's so good. It's like one of my favorite song openings in the entire musical. It's so sick. It's so good. Anyway, so basically in the musical, like, Poseidon's there, and the Lastrygonians, I don't know how to say that. I'm gonna say Lastrygonians. The Lastrygonians, who are like, okay, this isn't okay in the musical. The Lastrygonians are like Poseidon's like dudes, like how Aeolus has the Winians, Poseidon has the Lastrygonians. Okay, now I thought that the Lastrygonians were like little sea Winians. They're not. I watched the Vengeance Watch Party and went, oh, they are not just little sea Winians. No, they're more like very big buff sea Winians. And they're kind of scary, but that's okay. Anyway. So basically in the song, Poseidon just roasts and toasts the crap out of Odysseus. He's basically like, you dare to hurt my son, and you can't even finish the job. Like, my left pinky toenail could end my son faster than you could. And then he's like, but hey, I'm a reasonable guy, okay? Like, listen, if you apologize, I'll let you go, and we'll be all good. You know, we'll let bygones be bygones. Water under the bridge, you know, it is what it is. And Odysseus proceeds to give like the worst apology. It's not even an apology. He's basically just like, we didn't mean to hurt him. It just kind of happened, you know? Like, he was attacking us, so we just stabbed him in the eye. And And Poseidon's like, girl, bye. And he drowns everybody except for Odysseus's boat, which leaves him with 43 men. And and then the ripple and then the monster become a, like, nope, okay. And then like the why doesn't man become a monster motif comes in again. And Poseidon, because he's just sassy like that, he's like, I am your darkest moment. I'm not gonna even try to sing right now, but he's like, I'm your darkest moment. The monster who always draws near. You know? Just using Odysseus's words against him. But then Odysseus is like, all I gotta do is open this bag. And he opens it and he releases the rest of the wind that's in it, and it just kind of shoots them away from Poseidon. And I just always picture Poseidon being Poseidon, and the Poseidon's like, what? And I just picture him being like, while they just like slowly scooch out of frame. Because I saw an animatic where it's like that. I can't remember who made it. I saw it like a while ago, but that's how I picture it now because it's funny to me. And that is the end of the Ocean Saga, and I give that song 5 Poseidons out of 5. Next, we have the Circe Saga. This is one of my faves. I love the Circe Saga. Okay. Oops. I keep grabbing the freaking alerts instead. Okay. Here, I'll put myself here. There. Okay. Hang on. Water break. Oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock. I just want to point out also that there's a drawing of Odysseus's ship and his castle. Isn't that so cute? Anyway, and a little crown magnet because he's the king of Ithaca. It's perfect. Anyway, so now we're on to the Circe Saga, and we open with the song Puppeteer, which is one of my favorite songs in the musical. And basically, it opens with Eurylochus being like, Captain, I have something that I must confess. And it honestly sounds like he's about to do like a love confession. But then Odysseus is like, not right now, okay? Take some men, go scout out this island, make sure it's safe, whatever. And then Eurylochus is like, okay. And he goes and he does that. But then he comes back. And he's alone. Like, the men he took are gone. He's alone and he's all frazzled. And Odysseus is like, you good, bro? And Eurylochus starts rambling about how they faced like all these horrors, but nothing compares to what he saw. And then Odysseus is like, what was it? A woman? What? And then he's like, she had us at just 2 words. And then and basically we learned that a witch named Circe lives on this island, and she lured like the crew inside and turned them into pigs. And Eurylochus didn't get turned into a pig because he stayed outside because he's a part of the anxiety gang, and so that's why he was able to come back. I'm gonna be so real. I thought Talia, the actress who plays Circe, I thought she was actually British because Circe's like has a British accent in the song. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Like Jorge's like, the actors keep their accents because it's always really fun when a musical does that. She's not British. She's actually American, but. Or at least I think she's American. I'm pretty sure she's American. But she's not British is the point. And now a lot of British people are going to be like, wow, uncultured American, can't even tell a fake British. I don't even care, okay? Like, I've seen the food you eat. Anyway, I'm kidding. I actually don't have that much against British people. Anyway. Where am I? Okay, so Odysseus is like, we have to go save them. And Eurylochus is like, nuh-uh, we can just like run away together instead or something, you know? Like, we don't have to go save them, we just run away together. And Odysseus is like, I'm gonna go save them. You stay here, take a nap or something, have some water, eat a snack. I'll be back, okay? And then he goes. And that's that song. I give the song 5 puppets out of 5. Next song. Okay, I know I said Puppeteers were my favorite. Wouldn't You Like is one of my favorites. Like, I love Wouldn't You Like, okay? So, Wouldn't You Like is when Hermes comes in, okay? The messenger god. Now, Hermes is one of my favorite characters, and it's definitely not just because he's one of my favorite gods in general, and no, it's not biased. But basically, in this song, he shows up, he gets Odysseus high, and then he dips. And that's basically it. But to go into more detail, he gives Odysseus a root called moly. He calls it holy moly, but he gives Odysseus a root called moly, which will protect Odysseus from Circe's magic after he eats it. For a little added context, moly, I think, don't quote me on this, I think moly can only be picked by a deity, and like if Odysseus had known that moly would protect him and he tried to pick it, I think he would have like died or something. But because Hermes picked it, he's all good. He can like eat it and whatever. But in Epic, what the moly does, again, bringing in like the video game thing, you know, it's like a power up, right? It's like the mushrooms in Mario, you know. So in Epic, what moly allows Odysseus to do is he can temporarily summon whatever creature he wants to fight whatever Circe, what's it called, manifest, spawns in, I don't know, but Circe's chimera essentially. But what I love is how when Hermes shows up in this musical, he only shows up twice, but when he does show up, what I love is that you know that A, Odysseus is going to get some help, and B, the song is going to be an absolute banger, okay? I give the song 5 holy molies out of 5. Next we have Done For. So speaking of Circe's chimera, Odysseus goes to Circe and he's like, hey, I heard you maybe, you know, did something to my men. And she's like, all I did was reveal their true forms. And he's like, you turned them into pigs. And she's like, huh. I love her. Anyway, and then she's basically like, I don't know who you are, I don't know why you're here, but I have nymphs to protect, so if you want to F around, you're gonna find out. And Odysseus is like, huh, Uno reverse. I ate moly. And then they like go back and forth a little bit, and then Circe summons her chimera, and Odysseus summons a cyclops, because that was like the most recent like beast he encountered. So he uses the cyclops. He beats Circe, and he's like, he has her like up against the wall with his sword at her throat, and he's like I win, and she's like, huh, Uno reverse. And that's the end of that song. I give the song 5 swings out of 5, because he always goes swing, you lost. He doesn't say swing, but I say swing. Anyway, the next song is called There Are Other Ways, and Circe's like, there are other ways of persuasion, basically being like, you know, we're gonna do 18 plus things. And Odysseus is like, you want me to do what to save my men? Because keep in mind, right, he is so dedicated to Penelope, like aggressively dedicated to Penelope. And he's like, you want me to do what to get back to my men? You want me to betray my wife? But he starts going along with it even though he doesn't want to, because he's like, I need to save my men. They were stupid and got themselves turned into pigs. I'm kidding. But so basically what Circe's doing is she's luring him closer so she can stab him. But right before she can get him, Odysseus breaks away and he's like, I can't. And then he starts singing about how he's been separated from his wife for 12 long years, except it was actually 10. Jorge made a mistake while he was writing this. But he references this mistake later in the musical, and he always makes fun of himself for it. It's supposed to be 10 years, but he says 12. Anyway, he was just a little stressed, so he forgot his numbers, I guess. But Odysseus is basically just like, I miss my wife Circe, and now Poseidon's out to get me, and Circe's like, okay, fine, I'll help you get back to her. And then she explains how there's a prophet in the underworld who might have the answers he seeks. And then she turns his men back to men and sends them on their way. With the ending of the song also slaps. Like the way that the start of Ruthlessness slaps, the end of Other Ways also slaps. So give it a listen. I give this 5 ways of persuasion out of 5. And that brings us to the Underworld Saga and our next background. Okay. As you can see, I'm here with, hang on, I have to, oh, my shoulders are too big. Like, I have to be like way over here. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm here with my boy Tiresias and Odysseus. We're just having a little tea party in the underworld on water. Anyway, so we're in the Underworld Saga now. The Underworld Saga is the shortest saga in the musical. It's only 3 songs. But basically, we're having a tea party because Tiresias has all the tea, Anyway, so what happens is we start with a song called The Underworld, and this is one of my favorite songs. I'm going to say that for a lot of songs, but this is one of my favorite songs in the entire musical. So basically, Odysseus, the elementary school teacher, he's basically like, okay, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, and his crew's like, 1, 2, eyes on you, and he says, okay, friends, catch a bubble, listening ears. Circe's instructions were clear, no matter what we hear, full speed ahead, okay, right? So he's basically telling them, like, we're going to go in the underworld, we're going to see some scary things, but friends, we're going to be brave, and we're gonna remember our goal, and we're gonna stay on track, okay? So they enter the underworld, and basically Odysseus is like, oh, all I hear are screams, whatever, trauma, whatever, and he's like, oh my god, like, your past, my memories, whatever, and then so the first like memories he faces are the 558 crew members who died earlier in the musical. And they're like, why would you let the Cyclops live when ruthlessness is mercy? Callbacks. And Odysseus is like, all I hear are screams, blah, 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 angst. And then he's like, I keep thinking of the infant from that night. And I bring this up because the next person he sees is Polites. Now, the artists in this fandom are addicted to the most producing heart-wrenching, violently tear-jerking, vomit-inducing angst. And I am also addicted to that type of angst. So my favorite interpretation of this song is when he's like, I keep thinking of the infant from that night, and you see the infant's baby, and then Polites comes in and he's like, this life is amazing. And I saw one where like he like slowly, like the baby just floats into his arms, and he's singing to the baby. It hurts so good. Okay. Anyway, so then Polites does this whole thing, like, this life is amazing, whatever. And then the next person Odysseus sees is his mom. And this is how he learned that his mom died while waiting for him. And that's literally how she's like, waiting, Odysseus, when you come home, you wait. I'm not singing right now. But yeah, so she's like waiting, and he's like, I'm right here. Like, can't you see me? Whatever. And it's really, really sad. And then, yeah. And then to make it hurt even worse, like to make it even like, it's so cute, but it makes it hurt more. Jorge cast his mom as Odysseus's mom. So it's like Jorge's mom. It's so good. Okay, I give that song 5 screams out of 5. Next, the next song is called No Longer You. This is where our bro Tiresias comes in, okay? So Odysseus finally gets to the prophet Tiresias. And Tiresias is like, yeah, you're screwed, bestie. Like, you're screwed. And he's like, and Odysseus is like, what? But except Tiresias says it in like metaphors. So he's like, I see a man who gets to make it home alive, but it's no longer you. And Odysseus is as awful at reading in between the lines as I am. Because Tiresias is like, I see a wife with a man who is haunting, a man with a trail of bodies. And Odysseus is like, who? and Tiresias is like, do I need to like grab a whiteboard and draw this out for you or something? And then he repeats the chorus but louder. Obviously it's just because it's supposed to be like the song, it's crescendoing, you're getting to like the climax of the song, it's getting louder, but it's fun to think that it's him saying it louder to try and get it through Odysseus's head. Anyway, but then at the end of the song, the ensemble, like it's like the prophecy, right? Like obviously everything Tiresias is saying is also the prophecy, but the ensemble gives like us the listeners like a literal prophecy. They say siren song, Scylla throat, mutiny, lightning bolt, fight Poseidon, kill all the suitors for love. And that's literally how the rest of the musical goes. Like that's the prophecy, okay? So after all that, Tiresias is like, okay, I'm gonna hold your hand while I say this, okay? It's no longer you. And then the ensemble goes, Odysseus. They literally say Odysseus. So he's like, okay, listening ears, your turn, listening ears. It's no longer you, but metaphorically, it is you, Odysseus. And that's how the song ends. I give the song 5 prophecies out of 5. The final song in this saga is called Monster. And this is essentially Odysseus' tipping point, okay? This is when he starts to shift from man to monster. Like, he was already starting to make that shift, right? But this is when it, like, hits him that he needs to be the monster. So So he's basically like, oh my god, everyone's dying because I'm not ruthless enough. I need to get back to Penelope and Telemachus, and I'll become the monster to do so. And that's pretty much the entire song. I don't. It's a very important song. It's a pivotal moment. But that's all the notes I have on that song. He decides he'll be the monster, and that is that. So yeah, I give that song 4 rah rah rahs out of 5. Cheers, friends. Ow. I hit my... Okay. So next up, we have the Thunder Saga. So let me get my background for that. Bye-bye, Tiresias. Okay. Oh, I keep doing that. Okay. Don't mind me. I'm taking care of this cow, for a friend. Okay. So next we have the Thunder Saga, okay? So the first song in the Thunder Saga is Suffering. It's the song, for me at least. So in this song, so this like I said, this is the song that officially got me into epic. Obviously, I can sing both parts. But anyway, Odysseus essentially comes across Penelope just sitting on a rock in the middle of the ocean, I guess. Probably not the middle of the ocean, but he's on his ship and he sees Penelope sitting on a rock in the ocean. And Penelope's like, "Don't you miss me and our daughter? Like, jump in the water, come play with us." And Odysseus is like, "But Penelope, you know I'm hydrophobic." And Penelope's like, "In 12 or 1300 BCE? Okay." And Odysseus is like, "If you tell me how to get back to Ithaca, I'll jump in." So Penelope's like, "Okay, fair. To get back to Ithaca, you'll have to go through the layer of Scylla." And Odysseus is like, "But Scylla has a cost." And Penelope's like, "Well, you asked and now you know. Now jump in the water." And then this is when the most iconic moment in the entire musical occurs. It's when Odysseus is like, "Penelope, why? You know I'm too shy and terrified." Yeah, that's like the most iconic moment in the entire musical. Definitely that moment. Anyway, and then Penelope's like, "Oh my god, can you just jump in the water? I'll take the suffering from you. I have water wings you can use. It's just get in the water. Jump in the water, please, please." And he's like, "Oh, well, if that's the case, of course, Pookie." And the song ends. I give the song 5 B's out of 5. Bees like bzz. like the bug. I don't know why it took me so long to figure out. Anyway, that brings us to our next song, Different Beast. So this song opens. So basically, Odysseus shoots Penelope. Because guess what? It wasn't actually Penelope sitting on a rock in the middle of an ocean. It was a siren pretending to be Penelope sitting on a rock in the middle of the ocean. And Odysseus is like, "Guess what? I knew that all along. And while you were and guess what also? My crew yoinked all your siren friends out the water while you were offensively failing at pretending to be my wife." And then he forces this siren to like listen to a whole villain monologue where he reveals that his crew had beeswax in their ears the entire time, which essentially meant like the sirens couldn't like read their minds or whatever. Like they couldn't get, because their ears were blocked with beeswax. The sirens couldn't get the proper information they needed to pretend to be whoever they were trying to pretend to be to lure the crew into the water, which is why she was like, "Come play with me and our daughter." Why in the beginning, the little instrumental bit, it's not like violas, which is Penelope's instrument. It's like this weird, I think he called it like Vocaloid thing. I don't know. And why, like, when she's explaining what Poseidon will do, she's like, "He will chase you high and low," which is Zeus's, like, motif or whatever. So, anyway, she gets a bunch of stuff wrong, basically is what I'm saying. She did not do her research. Anyway, so and the funny, so this is the bit where I was saying earlier how Jorge messed up the years, but he, like, makes fun of it later. At the beginning of his monologue, he's like, "We've been away from home for about 12 years or so." And then, yeah. Anyway, so that's Jorge making fun of his mistake. So the sirens are like, "Spare us, oh spare us, please." And Odysseus is like, "Let me think about it." No. And then he orders his men to cut off their tails and throw them back in the water. so they can drown. And that is our introduction to the start of Monster Odysseus, aka the Different Beast. I give that song 5 siren tails out of 5. The next song in the musical, ooh, I love this song. The next song is Scylla, and so essentially it begins with Eurycus being like, I can't keep this confession inside me anymore, and Odysseus is like, dude, I get you're married to my sister, but, and then Eurycus is like, I opened the windbag while you were asleep, and then Odysseus is like, Eurycus, can you go light up 6 torches for me? And Eurycus is like, okay. So they reach the lair of Scylla, and Scylla's like, hello, but like creepy and layered. It's really cool. Anyway, she's like, hello, and then she's like because basically, for context, Scylla's a lady with 6 monster heads coming out of her. So she's like, they just like see her first, and then she's like, hello, and then the monster heads just all start like that. And then Odysseus is like, row for your lives, and then she's like, drown in your sorrow and fears, and it's so good. Anyway, so what happens is Scylla's heads, there's 6 of them. The heads target the men holding torches. So essentially what happens is each of the heads eat 1 man. So after 6 men are eaten, they like leave her lair. That's like the cost they were talking about. They paid the toll, they paid the fee. And then Odysseus harmonizes with Scylla when she's like, we are the same, you and I. Whatever. I can't sing right now. I'm like losing my voice from talking for so long. But Odysseus like harmonizes with Scylla. It like shows like he's a monster too, you know? We are the same, you and I, whatever. And it's just a really good song. I give the song 6 torches out of 6. And then the next song we have is called Mutiny. And Eurylochus is basically like, you let these men die on purpose. And Odysseus is like, and one of them was supposed to be you, windbag. And then Eurylochus pulls out his sword, which is canonically ginormous. Like, it's really funny. It's like one of the like really like big ones that's like really wide. It's like the size of his whole body. Anyway. He pulls out his sword, and Odysseus is like, lower your weapon. No can do. You miss your wife so bad you trade the lives of your own crew. And Odysseus is like, yes, and then the girls start fighting. The girls are fighting, with most of the crew cheering for Eurylochus, because again, he's kind of like the voice of the crew. And then right when Odysseus is gonna win, he gets stabbed by Paramedes, another crew member. And Odysseus is like, oh, my brothers, why? And the crew's like, you're out of control! And then Odysseus passes out. And he wakes up with a headache, I guess. And he wakes up, he's like, oh, my head. And he sees they're on an island. And Eurylochus is like, look, we're on this island. There's these cows. We're going to eat them because we're hungry. Also, there's a statue of Helios, the sun god, here for some reason. I don't know why. And Odysseus is like, so there's cows. And there's a statue of the sun god. Do you, and Eurylochus is like, huh? And then Odysseus is like, okay, so these are Helios's immortal cows. We don't eat the gods' cows, do we? And Eurylochus is like, but I'm hungry. And Odysseus is like, we have food at home. If you kill these cows, everyone will die. And then Odysseus's crew, like the whole crew is like, but we're hungry. How long do we have to keep living like this, you know? And then Odysseus' attempts at parenting unfortunately do not work, and Eurylochus stabs a cow, as you can see. It's my friend right here. Eurylochus stabs a cow, and Odysseus is like, you've doomed us all, Eurylochus. And Eurylochus goes, Captain. And I just picture Odysseus, here you go. I just picture Odysseus being like Captain, being like, 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 what do you mean, you know? Anyway, and he's like, we gotta go. So they try to go, but it's too late. Why? You'll see. I give the song 4 cows out of 5. So this brings us to the next song, Thunderbringer. Now this song is very video game boss battle vibes. I love it. But basically, Zeus rolls up. That's right. Zeus rolls up, and he doesn't even address Odysseus for the first verse and chorus. He's just like, pride is a damsel in distress. He's like completely ignoring him. But then when he does pay attention to him, he's like, choose. And Odysseus is like, no thank you. And Zeus is like, that's not a choice. Do you want to die? Or do you want your crew to die? And Odysseus is like, please don't make me do this. Because both both him and Zeus know that he's gonna pick himself, okay? And then again, the when does a man become a monster motif comes in. And then Zeus makes a hallucination, Penelope. Essentially, he like makes a vision of Penelope float to Odysseus, and she's like, I can take the suffering from you. And then, surprise, surprise, Odysseus picks, drumroll please, himself, so he can see Penelope. And Eurylochus is like, but we'll die. And Odysseus is like, well, maybe you should have thought about that before opening the wind bag, stabbing me, then stabbing an immortal cow. So there. No, but the moment's actually like really serious. And Odysseus is like super guilty for his choice. Like he feels really guilty for his choice, but his love for Penelope is too strong. So then Zeus explodes the ship. He takes his lightning and he's like, "Quapa!" And then the ship explodes and everyone sinks to the bottom of the ocean. And that's the end of the Thunder Saga. I just want to say I am aware of Thunder Riser. And if you were not aware of Thunder Riser, my sincerest apologies for bringing it to your attention. And you're welcome, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I give Thunderbringer 5 Penelope hallucinations out of 5. This brings us to the Wisdom Saga. I love the Wisdom Saga. Hang on. I'm like losing my voice, low-key. Alright. Oh, I keep... No! Stop it. Okay. I'm sat right here next to Jorge. Everyone pretends this is Jorge because he's a Hephaestus fan. We'll see why in a second. Okay. So this brings us to the Wisdom Saga with the first song, Legendary. So in Legendary, we are introduced to Telemachus. Telemachus is, as I said, Odysseus' son, and he's basically like, I'd fight every monster if it means I'll be legendary like my dad. And that's like the whole song. It's a really good song. No. So, and then in the song, we also learned that there are 108 fatherless suitors. Not my words. That's what Jorge said. There are 108 fatherless suitors who have essentially taken over the palace. They're like eating all the food. They're taking up space. They're being incredibly rude guests. Like they're just not good. And they're getting impatient because it's been 20 years since Odysseus has been there, since they've had a king. And the head suitor, Antinous, like grabs Telemachus and he asks when his mom will choose a husband. But he calls her a very rude name that I'm not going to repeat here because we keep things PG-13 around here. I guess it would be PG-13, but whatever. Anyway, he grabs him. He's like, when's your bleep of a mother going to choose a new husband? And then Telemachus gets all mad. He's like, don't you dare call my mother a bleep. And then Antinous is like, I just did. What you going to do about it, champ? You know? And yeah, so I give that song 5 Argos head pats out of 5. And that brings us to the next song, Little Wolf, which also has huge video game vibes. I love it. It's like those like PvP arcade games. I don't know what they're called, but it's like the... where there's like 2 guys and you fight each other and it's 2D, whatever. It's like those PvP arcade games, okay? And I love the vibes so much. Anyway, so Antinous is basically like, oh, this little wolf thinks he can fight, and like all the suitors are taunting him and they're telling him like either fight or die, or like you're gonna die anyway, whatever. But they're like threatening him or whatever. And Telemachus gets beat up pretty bad when Athena pulls up and she pulls him into quick thought. And Telemachus is like, what's going on here? And Athena's like, so are you gonna fight or what? And he's like, I don't know how. And she's like, uppercut him now. And then, yeah, because basically her using quick thought on him allows like everything around them to slow down enough for Telemachus to like get his bearings and like fight, you know? I don't know what that was. And to like fight. And then so Athena like helps Telemachus fight back, and he holds his own pretty well, but Antinous ultimately still wins, and he tells Telemachus like, if Penelope doesn't choose a suitor, we'll bring blood and tears. And Telemachus is like, tell me Athena why you came to my aid, and yeah, that's how that song ends. So I gave that song 5 kicks to Antinous's balls out of 5. The next song is called We'll Be Fine. I love this song. Okay, the next song is called We'll Be Fine, and okay, I can't remember if this is actually in the like canon animatic or not, but like I've seen animatics where this happens, where Athena, she's like looking wistfully at like a painting of Odysseus or something. She's like, I had a friend before and he was a lot like you. And Telemachus is like, I have no clue who you're talking about, because you know, like father like son, he's like, I have no clue who you're talking about, but I'll be your friend. And she's like, aw, that she like teaches him Odysseus's riff and everything, like the Warrior of the Mind riff. And then which Telemachus puts like his own little twist on. And Athena's like, "You're a good kid," and he's like, "Thanks," and it's really cute. I give the song 5 Miko riffs out of 5. Okay, next, Love in Paradise. Athena's like, "I'm gonna go look for Odysseus. I need to figure out where he's been." And there's a super cool flashback sequence where it's like we get a little rundown of everything that's happened up until then. And then we learn that Odysseus had washed up on Calypso's island. And so when he wakes up, Calypso's like, "Oh my gosh, you washed up on my island, whatever. Tell me though, who's Penelope?" Because she's like, "You talk in your sleep. Who's Penelope?" And he's like, "She's my wife." And it's just like, and then Calypso's like, "Anyway, you're mine now, and you're trapped here with me in paradise." And Odysseus is like, "What?" And then he ends up trapped on Calypso's island for 7 years. So bring us back to the present. Okay, so flashback forward, I guess. Calypso finds him standing on a cliff, and he's not having a good time. Okay, and he's like, "All I hear are screams," and she's like trying to get him off the edge of the cliff, and he's like, "You don't know what I've gone through," whatever. And it's really sad. And then Jorge just absolutely guts us, okay, with Apollotes, Odysseus' Bob, and Eurylochus' combo. He brings them back, and they're like all singing together while he's crying on this cliff, wanting to why to not be trapped anymore, why things to end, and it's like so sad. And then he cries out to Athena, and Athena's like, "He needs my help," and that's how the song ends. I give it 5 little craps out of 5. My neighbor's dog is barking. Anyway. And that brings us to God Games. I love God Games. Okay, so God Games is like more video games vibes. Essentially, Athena has to like convince a bunch of gods to release Odysseus, but each god is like a level that Athena needs to pass. So it gets increasingly more difficult as she goes through the game. And so basically Athena goes to Zeus and she's like, "Father, Odysseus needs to be released." And Zeus is like, "If you can convince Apollo, Hephaestus, Aphrodite, Ares, Hera, or me, then maybe I will." And she's like, "Bring it." So Apollo first. Apollo's like, "He killed sirens, and it makes me sad because I liked hearing them sing and I like their catchy songs." And Athena's like, "You're literally just here to listen to the rest of us sing. You don't even care. Like, you just want to hear the rest of us." And Apollo's like, "Yeah, release him." And then she goes to Hephaestus, who is voiced by Jorge's dad, and that's why everyone's like, this is Jorge. Anyway, he's voiced by Jorge's dad because Hephaestus is like the god of like blacksmith and like crafting and building and stuff. And Jorge's dad like helped build the sound booth where they recorded a lot of Epic and stuff like that. So, or he like mainly built, and Jorge helped. Anyway. So that's why Hephaestus is voiced by Jorge's dad, because he's also a builder. But not Jorge's dad. Hephaestus is like, he's like, he doesn't know anything about trust, like blah, blah, blah. He sacrificed his Uncle Hort, its own cohort, but the misheard lyric is Uncle Hort, and that's funny to me. Anyway, and then Athena's like, if you release him, he can build a future with his family. And Hephaestus is like, will you leave my workshop if I agree? And Athena's like, yes. And Hephaestus is like, release him. So, again, it's going to get harder the more she goes. The next person is Aphrodite. I love Aphrodite's intro so much. Like the anyway. So it's Aphrodite's turn now. And Aphrodite's basically like, Odysseus let his mother die from a broken heart. Let him do the same. Like, whatever. Like, do not release him. Like, let him feel what she felt. So Athena uses quick thought to try and buy more time to convince her. However, Ares also has quick thought. So Ares like pulls her into his quick thought. And he's like, "Really, Athena, these old tricks." And then he like goes off on this whole thing. He's like, he didn't even fight Scylla, didn't even try to kill her. Didn't even try to kill her. And then blah blah blah. And then he's like, he's a coward like his son. And then that gets Athena mad. And she pulls Ares into quick thought again, so it's like a quick thought and quick thought and quick thought, and she's like, "Keep Telemachus's name out your mouth," and then she's like, "Tell your girlfriend," because Aphrodite and Ares are lovers, but Athena's like, "Tell your girlfriend that a broken heart isn't that big of a deal, and like it'll be fine, and since you love violence so much, Odysseus will literally make everyone bleed to get home." And then Aphrodite and Ares are like, fine, release him, and then next level, okay? Hera. Hera's level is a dance battle. Like, it's literally actually a dance battle, and it's so fun. So Athena has to dance battle Hera to get her to release, or to get her to agree to release Odysseus. So she's basically like dancing, and she's like, why is Odysseus better than any hero? Like, why should I listen to your story and not anyone else's? And Athena's like, he's smart, he's good with words, he's kind of funny, and Hera's just like, no. And then Athena goes, never once has he cheated on his... I can't do that. I can, but, like, I don't want to. Okay. Athena's basically like, never once has he cheated on his wife. And then Hera's like, release him. Because if you know mythology, Zeus cheated on Hera a lot. Anyway, so then Athena gets to Zeus, who's, like, the final boss for the God Games. And she demands Odysseus' release. She's like, I played your game and won, blah, blah, blah. And then Zeus is angry at Athena for getting this far. And probably for the cheating comment. And he's like... And he gets all mad. Dude, Luke Holt's voice goes crazy here. It's so scary. But it's so cool. Anyway. It's just so good. Everyone's just so good at this musical. Anyway. So then he gets all mad. And then he, like, strikes her with a bolt of light. Like, a huge thing of lightning. He's like, Kachoo! And then... and then... she's like on the ground and Ares is like, is she dead? And then the Warrior of the Mind instrumental plays, but then it shifts into legendary and it's so good. And then she like pulls herself to Zeus's feet and she like begs him to let him go, to let Odysseus go, and then she passes out. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, did she die? So I guess we'll find out. I give the song 5 Apollos out of 5 because he's my other favorite. Next is the Vengeance Saga. So let me... Okay. Welcome. Oops. I keep doing that. Okay. Next up is the Vengeance Saga. So, the Vengeance Saga opens with a song called Not Sorry for Loving You. And basically Calypso's like, someone just told me I have to let you go. And Odysseus is like, oh, really? And Calypso's like, but before you leave, I need you to know that I'm sorry if I ever forced myself onto you or anything. I was wrong, but I'm not sorry for loving you. Like, literally, like, probably a worse apology than what Odysseus told Poseidon. But then she, like, explains how she was left alone on this island since she was young and thought that Odysseus was, like, the one because he, like, magically washed up on her shores and he was the only guy she's ever known. So, and she's frustrated and heartbroken that this isn't the case. And Odysseus is like, I mean, I guess I love you. And she's like, you do? And he's like, sure, but not like that, though. Bye. And then he leaves her crying on the beach. And he just floats away in his raft. And that's that song. I give it 4. I also gave this... What? Okay, apparently I also rated this Little Crabs. I also rated... But this one's 4 Little Crabs out of 5. Next is Dangerous. Okay, so this opens with Odysseus being like, 600 men, 600 deaths under my command, with only one goal in mind. And normally that's when the crew would come back and say the goal, but because they're all dead, there's just empty. Anyway. And Odysseus is like, how will I get home? And then Hermes rolls up. That's right, Hermes is like, hey, bestie, me again, your favorite great-grandpa. And he tells Odysseus that he's got to be dangerous. He's like, it's a little bit dangerous, my friend. Anyway, he's like, you gotta throw caution out the window, you gotta be dangerous, okay? And he gives Odysseus 3 instructions. No matter what, keep rowing, keep moving. There's gonna be a monster at some point. Here's a windbag, do not... And then he's like, take this windbag, okay? Take this windbag that me and the Winions acquired in completely normal ways from Aeolus, and do not open it. And Odysseus is like, okay, thanks. And Hermes is like, good luck. And then he leaves. So I give this 5 Hermes twerks out of 5. Next is Charybdis. Just for context, Charybdis is like a giant whirlpool monster. But Odysseus is like, you must be who Hermes mentioned, a monster who blocked my way. That was so out of key. Anyway, he gets past Charybdis by avoiding her whirlpools. Because basically, Charybdis like uses whirlpools to like pull in ships and like eat them, but she can only swallow so much water before she has to like spit it all up or she'll like destroy herself. So Odysseus gets through like super speedy quick because he doesn't have 600 men to worry about or anyone who might open the windbag, so he gets through pretty quick. And then he sees Ithaca and he gets excited. He's like, there, I see it. Rookie mistake. You know why? That's when he sees something in the water. I give the song 5 whales out of 5. Because some of the sounds, Charybdis's like noise is like a mix of like whale noises and sirens and stuff. Anyway, that brings us to Get in the Water. And that's when Poseidon shows up again. Remember that foreshadowing from earlier where he was like, remember me? Yeah, he's back, baby. He rises out of the water and he's like, there you are, coward. And then he's basically like, I've been spawn camping you for 7 years and now I can finally end you and maintain my public image as a ruthless god. And Odysseus is like, or maybe you could not do that? And Poseidon's like, get in the water or I'll drown your entire kingdom and gouge your son's eye. And Odysseus is like, dude, it's been 10 years. Like, we're both tired. How about we forgive and forget? And Poseidon's like, how about no? And then he does his, like, boss move, like, gamer special move, which is called Shatter the Ocean, where he basically just, like, picks up the whole ocean and he makes, like, a giant Poseidon out of the ocean. And then the whole ocean just comes, like, it like shatters. He like takes the whole ocean and then and he crashes it all down on Odysseus with like his big trident and he's like pushing Odysseus to the bottom of the ocean. And then Jorge KOs us. He knocks us out with a freaking Polites, Eurylochus, Odysseus' mom, and crew combo. They all come back and they all start like pulling Odysseus to the bottom of the ocean. And that's where the song ends. I give this song 5 acres of grass out of 5 because some of y'all online need to get outside, okay? I've seen the comments on Get in the Water. Y'all need to stop. they're kind of scary. Anyway, the next song, I love the next song. The next song is called 600 Strike, and it is the most like anime-y song in the entire musical. Basically Odysseus, he's underwater, right? And you're like, oh my god, he's dead. No. His eyes open, they burst open, and they're red. There's like this headcanon that, because Athena's like out of commission, Ares comes in and he's like, the voice actor for Ares also did like a little thing with the headcanon. It's so cool. But this isn't canon, but it's like the headcanon is Ares comes in and he's like, show me what you can do. My sister says you can do a lot of things, like show me, whatever. That's not canon though. But anyway, but he opens his eyes and they're red. Okay, why? You know what, I'll get to that. Okay, so then we hear Aeolus's motif because he sees like the windbag caught on the trident and he grabs the windbag. He puts it on and he opens it and then he jetpacks out of the water. And it's kind of silly, but it's also really like cool at the same time and kind of like smart too, I feel like to do that. Anyway, some people like really don't like the jetpack. I think it's fun. But yeah, he's basically like, I have the power of God, anime, and 600 men on my side. And then he beats the crap out of Poseidon with his jetpack. He's like, and then Poseidon falls. And then Poseidon's like, you idiot, can't you see? You sealed your fate just to beat me. And he's basically like, you opened the bag and released my storm, and now you're stuck here with me forever or something. I don't know. Which honestly sounds like it would be a punishment for the both of them, but whatever. And Odysseus is like, you're gonna call off that storm. And Poseidon's like, or what? You can't kill me. And Odysseus goes, exactly. I can't do the voice. But he then picks up Poseidon's trident and he just starts stabbing Poseidon with his own trident while just screaming about everything Poseidon's ever done to him. And then Poseidon's like, okay, jeez, I'll stop the storm. And then Odysseus drops the trident. Dude, the trident sounds are so cool. Anyway, he drops the trident and Poseidon's like, after everything you've done, how will you sleep at night? And Odysseus goes, next to my wife. It's just so good. But it's funny because he answered a rhetorical question with a literal answer. Anyway, so then he walks off, leaving Poseidon just bleeding there. And yeah, that's the end of that song. But his eyes are red. Why are his eyes red? Because he's finally the monster. He is the monster now. His eyes are red because he's no longer man. He's become a monster, you know? That's why his eyes are red. Anyway, I give that song 5 stabby stabs out of 5. Now finally, we come to the final saga. Oops. Okay. By the way, for this art, Drawing Angie did like the stuff in the front. I don't know who did the art in the back. I'll explain like why there's other art in the back. I don't know who did the art in the back, and I couldn't figure it out. I am so sorry. Anyway, yeah, I tried. Anyway, so now we get to Ithaca Saga. Okay, I love Ithaca Saga so much. Okay, so before we get into like the actual saga, I just want to talk about what happened when I listened to the saga. Okay, so the day of its release, I did this with Vengeance Saga too, but the day that Ithaca Saga was released, right when I woke up, I immediately listened to it. And that resulted in me sobbing at like 6:30 in the morning because I woke up at like 6 a.m. and then the very first thing I did was listen to Ithaca Saga. So I was just like crying at 6:30 in the morning. And then the watch party that night made me cry even harder because then there were the animatics paired with it. So that made me cry even harder. And like during the watch party when Luke Holt started like blinking rapidly and I could tell he was like starting to cry, I was like, ah! It hurt so good. Anyway, so then I texted one of my friends about the premiere and she said she'd text me her time of death if she didn't survive it because she hadn't watched it. So then the next day, I texted her, and I was like, time of death, unknown, cause of death, a bed made out of an olive tree. And it turns out she hadn't watched it yet, but she was like, my cause of death will definitely be an olive tree bed. And then I texted back, they said it couldn't be lifted, yet it somehow smashed into my head. And I continue, okay, this isn't the quote. The quote ends there. The quote is, they said it couldn't be lifted, yet it somehow smashed into my head. End quote. I now continue to be bashed over the head with the olive tree bed because I have Ithaca Saga on repeat. I have Ithaca Saga and the Hadestown London Cast album on repeat right now. I have for like the past month. Less than a month, but whatever. And I keep seeing the most like heart-wrenching animatics on my For You page or whatever. I saw one where they did like a drawing of them being reunited and all the like people who passed away around them, and Argos the dog was there, and I was like, why would you do this to me? Anyway, so the saga. It opens with a song called The Challenge, okay? And violas play, like I said earlier, violas are Penelope's instrument. And we finally see the real Penelope. This is not here, over there, not this, over here. And basically Penelope's like, I told the suitors I'd pick someone once this shroud is weaved, but I've been secretly unweaving it every night and they haven't figured it out because they're dumb men. And then she's like, but I probably can't keep this up much longer. But there was a weird storm nearby. It was the storm from 600 Strike. And, you know, maybe that's a sign that's time for the challenge. What is the challenge? The challenge is the suitor who can string Odysseus's bow and shoot through 12 axes that are lined up. There's holes in the axes, and then they have to shoot through the holes in the 12 axes. Whoever can do that is who she'll marry. Now, for context, for anyone who doesn't know, okay, Odysseus's bow is insane, okay? It's called a palintonos bow. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. But basically, when it's not stringed, it's shaped like this. And then, wait, it's shaped like this. And then to string it, you have to bend it like this. So then it's like, so you're going from like this, and you have to bend it till it's like this. Like, I don't know why I'm using my arms. I can show you with my hand. So it's like this, and then okay, that looks, it's like this, and you have to bend it so it's like that. Anyway, so that's like insanely difficult to do, obviously. Not only that, I heard that, I couldn't confirm. I was looking online, but like, I couldn't find anything specific, but apparently his bow also has a draw power of like 600 pounds or something insane. So it's also like, even if you could string it, it's really difficult to like shoot something with it. So that's what they have to do. They have to string that bow and shoot through 12 arrows. And then it ends with her being like, just know I'll be here waiting. Because, you know, Jorge didn't hurt us enough. So he had to hit us with the waiting. I give that song 12 axes out of 12. Next song is called Hold Them Down. Hold Them Down. I'm gonna give another additional warning here, content warning, okay? This is a very dark song. This and the next song are very dark, but I would say this one's darker than the third song in the saga. Anyway, Hold Them Down is a very dark song, okay? We're just gonna refresh the content warnings here. Okay, this song has violence, it has gore, it has murder, And it has like essay, like they talk about murdering someone and they talk about essaying Penelope. Okay, so you have been warned. Basically, the suitors all fail to string the bow because, duh, they aren't Odysseus. And Antinous realizes that it's like a trick, essentially. And he's like, oh my god, like, screw this challenge, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Angry man noises, I guess. And he's like, Telemachus is apparently on a diplomatic mission and he comes back today. Let's catch him when he, like, when he docks, let's catch him, hold him down, slit his throat, cut him into pieces, and toss the pieces in the ocean. And then only the ocean and I will know, which so that's what he's like, let's do that. And then he's like, and once Telemachus is out of the way, no one can stop us from breaking into the queen's room and taking her, essentially. And that part of the animatic actually made me feel ill. Like, I watched it and I felt sick. But here's the thing, okay? Some people don't like how dark this song is. There were a lot of people, like, there was a whole debate online about everything that happens in it, but I think it's necessary. I think it's a good thing that this song is so dark. Obviously, the stuff that happens in this song I don't agree with, obviously, but like the song itself, I feel like it's completely necessary that Jorge made it so dark because, like, yes, the song is extremely uncomfortable and sickening, but it's very important for us as listeners to understand how disgusting the suitors truly are, because we don't see them as much in Epic as you do in, like, the Odyssey, because in the Odyssey you also follow Telemachus around. You aren't just following Odysseus. So you see the suitors a lot more in the Odyssey than you do in Epic. But in Epic, the only thing that we've seen of the suitors up until this point were Legendary and Little Wolf. And in those, like, you're just kind of like, they seem just kind of like egotistical a-holes who are like, blah, 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 fighting, whatever. Right? Like, yes, they say things that you're like, ooh, but they don't, they kind of just seem like they're just talking and they're not actually going to do it. You know what I mean? But this song shows you, like, no, these are, like, literally scum of the earth guys. Like, they're literally, like, just really bad dudes. Like, I don't know, but I feel like it's extremely necessary for the song to be this dark and uncomfortable for us, for, like, as listeners to truly understand just how, like, disgusting and scum of the earth the suitors were. Okay, so that's my opinions on that. I think it's necessary that the song's this dark, and I like that Jorge made it that dark because it's important. I give this, anyway, one more point and then my rating. So basically, after Aaron Alexander slays with his vocals, okay, he voices Antinous. After he slays with his vocals, Odysseus slays Antinous with an arrow through the vocal cords too. Anyway, but I give the song 5 arrows to Antinous' neck out of 5. Yeah, definitely not a song to, like, play at a party or something, but again, I feel like the song is very, very necessary for the musical. So, anyway, the next song is called Odysseus, okay? I love this song. So basically, I just want to preface this by saying, again, content warnings, there's a lot of death, blood, whatever, violence, but I also want to say that Greek heroes don't align with the modern definition for heroes. There were a few people online, apparently. I didn't see it myself, but I heard other people talking about this. So don't, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But apparently there are people who are being like, why would they call Odysseus a hero? Like, he's a murderer or whatever. It's because Greek heroes, like, the term for hero back then doesn't align with our term for hero now. Okay? Like, now we're like, heroes are good guys, they save the world, whatever. Back then, in ancient Greece, hero, I think, basically just meant, like, they're superhuman, essentially. Like how Odysseus could use his crazy bow, but no other guy could. So, I just that kind of has nothing to do with anything either. I just felt like saying that, I guess, because I wrote it down. Anyway. Ugh, the animatic for this one opens with it saying, Odysseus, final boss. And I saw that and I screamed. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Anyway, so it's the final boss, Odysseus. And the suitors are all, like, panicking as Odysseus, like, hunts them through the darkness. He's, like, slipping through the dark. Canonically in the Odyssey, he's naked while he's doing this. He's not, in Epic he has his clothes on, so it's not in there, but in the original Odyssey, he is naked, which is, I was reading it, and it was like, he took off his robes, and I was like, we don't need to be doing that, sir. Anyway, he's not, in Epic he has his clothes on, so the suitors are panicking while he's hunting them in the dark with his clothes on, and there's a suitor where he's like, where is he? Where they're like, where, yeah. Okay, so she was like, where is he? Where is he? And I was like, keep your head down. He's aiming for the torches. Scylla. He's copying Scylla. We are the same, you and I. Anyway. And then they realize their weapons are gone. And they're like, no, 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 it's fine. One suitor's like, we know these halls, the odds can be tilted. Sweet, sweet summer child. Odysseus is like, and then Odysseus is like, you don't think I know my own palace? I built it. And then he like, well, no, he actually shoots him. But, and he's like, put you, and then he shoots him. So he's like hunting more guys, whatever. And the entire time in the background, the ensemble's chanting like Odysseus, like they do with like Polyphemus. Anyways, but they're like chanting Odysseus in the back, because he's like the monster in this scenario. He's the monster now. And then Eurymachus, I think that's how you say his name. Eurymachus, one of the suitors, tries to ask for forgiveness. He's like, "Oh, king, our leader is dead. You've destroyed the serpent's head." And then he's basically like, we're not threats anymore. And then he says, let's have open arms instead. And then Odysseus is like, no. He doesn't say it like that, but Eurymachus is like, let's have open arms instead. He immediately dies. It doesn't work for obvious reasons. A few of the suitors now, we like go off to like another group of suitors. So another group of suitors, they find their weapons in the armory, but it's unlocked. Like, they can get into the armory and get their weapons. And then one of the suitors is like, okay, but Odysseus is like really smart. Like, why would he just leave his armory open like this? And then Amphinomus is like, so what? Let's just take these weapons and we can end him, right? And then they're like, behind you! And he gets stabbed by our boy Telemachus. That's right. And then so Telemachus comes in and he's just like, he's just like killing a bunch of suitors. And then the suitors try to grab Telemachus so they can use him against Odysseus. So they start arming themselves. But Telemachus has Athena's aid. Like, Athena's helping him. So he holds his own really, really well until oh gosh, I don't know how to say his name. Melanthius manages to grab him and he's like, got him. And then shung, Odysseus stabs Melanthius from behind. And then Melanthius tries to beg for mercy, which I'm like, it's a little late for that, isn't it? Like, you got a sword through you, bro. Like, I mean, even if he gave you mercy, like, you're done for. Anyway. And then Odysseus is like, mercy? And he has like a second mini villain monologue, and Jorge's voice gets really scary and deep, and it's so cool. And he's like, my mercy's long since drowned, you know, because Poseidon drowned his mercy. And he's like, it died to bring me home, blah, blah, blah. And then he's basically like, you really think you can plan to kill my wife? Or, nope. He mixes it up. He's like, you really think you could plan to kill my son and grape my wife, and I will let you live? And then he beheads Melanthius as an example to the remaining suitors of their incoming fates. And then all the suitors start screaming and they're all freaking out as Odysseus kills them all. It's very satisfying. Another reason why I'm so glad Hold Them Down was dark. So dark because it makes Odysseus even more satisfying to listen to. Anyway, so, and then it ends. He kills all the suitors and the song ends with ensemble going, Odysseus, the same way they did at the end of No Longer You, because he fulfilled the prophecy. Isn't that so cool? Dude, I love like details, like it's so cool. Okay, so because he fulfilled the prophecy, he killed all the suitors for love. Okay, I give the song 5 no's out of 5. Next is the song I Can't Help But Wonder. This is where the tears start for me personally. My friends started crying at the challenge, but I started crying at I Can't Help But Wonder. So this is when Odysseus and Telemachus finally reunite after 20 years. Mind you, the last song, Odysseus, was Telemachus' first impression of his dad, which is really funny to me. Anyway, but Telemachus is basically like, for 20 years, I've wondered if I'm good enough to be your son, if you'd actually accept me as your son, you know, like, I don't know if I'm good enough for you, whatever. And Odysseus is like, and you used to be a little baby, and now you're grown. But Odysseus, one thing I noticed was he says, Used to say I'd make the storm clouds cry for you. Used to say I'd capture wind and sky for you. And I was like, you know, he kind of almost did. If he didn't open the wind bags and he brought one of the wind bags back to Telemachus, he could be like, I captured wind and sky for you. That has nothing to do with anything. Anyway. But then Odysseus goes, my son, I'm finally home. And all of us start violently sobbing. And then they hug and we all cry. Anyway, and then more crying from us, and then Odysseus is like, go tell your mother I'm home. I'll be there in a moment. And that just strikes me as so funny because he says it so casually, like he just came back from the store or something. I don't know. So then Telemachus runs off, and then Odysseus is like, show yourself. I know you're watching me. Show yourself. And Athena pulls him into QuickBot. And she's basically like, I think I messed up as your mentor, but I also think the world could be a better place than it is now. And Odysseus is like, I'm probably gonna die before then, but I wish you the best of luck with that. I'm gonna go see my wife now. And then Athena turns around and she has a scar on her eye from God Games when Zeus chewed her and like shot lightning on her. And she just says, very well. And then she like leaves, they leave Quick Thought, and then Telemachus comes back and he's like, Father, she's waiting for you. I give this 5. I just wrote 5 out of 5. I wrote 5 sobs out of 5. Anyway. And then the final song of the entire musical. My favorite song in the whole musical. Would You Fall in Love Again? Okay, so Odysseus is like, oh, Penelope. He walks into their bedroom, and Penelope's like, is it really you? And Odysseus is like, no. I'm dark and edgy now with vengeance-based murderous tendencies and decades of severe trauma. Would you fall in love with me again? And Penelope's like, what kind of things did you do? And Odysseus is like, I killed a bunch of people, including my own crew, but I did it all to get back to you, so would you fall in love with me again? And that's like, and there's like this whole montage sequence of, I believe, every official animatic from Epic. So that's why I was like, I could figure out who the artist for that was. I tried to look for, I just could not. I think I just like missed it or something while I was looking. I am so sorry. But Drawing Angie did the drawings in French of the montage. Anyway. And the Penelope's basically like, if that's true, and she's like, can you move this wedding bed out? I don't want to use it if you're not my husband anymore, because that wedding bed was for me and my husband, and you're saying you're not my husband anymore. So, and Odysseus is like, but I made that bed for us to show my love for you, and you want me to cut it from its roots and toss it out? So for context, the bed is literally carved into the olive tree where they first met, so like you can't pick it up unless you cut the tree. And Penelope's basically just like, no, dummy, clearly you're my husband. And wait, what? Clearly you're my husband because you're the only other person who knew about this bed. Why would you ever doubt that I like loved you in the first place? What do you mean fall in love with you again? I love you, stupid, you know? And then Odysseus is just like, Penelope. And then she's basically like, I don't care how long you've been gone, what you've done, or who you think you've become, you're mine. And it's like, in contrast to Calypso saying Odysseus is, she's like, from here on out, you're mine, all mine, you know? But this is like, this holds so much more power. Anyway. And then Penelope's just basically like, you're always my husband and I've been waiting. And then she repeats waiting over and over. And there's someone started a rumor that she says waiting 8 times and that each time is for each saga. She says it 7 times. We've cleared that up already. But like for a while, people were going around saying that she says it 8 times, once for each saga, which would be really, really cool. But like rhythm-wise, that doesn't line up. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, and then she goes like, waiting, oh, whatever. And she goes, for you, and like the 4, that's like the Odysseus motif, because they're like, Odysseus. I didn't really talk about that earlier, but anyway. And she goes, for you. And then the Just a Man instrumental plays. All I wrote was cue vomit-inducing sobbing. That's what everyone starts ugly crying in the club, okay? And then it ends with Penelope saying, how long has it been? And Odysseus saying 20 years. And it ends with them singing together saying, I love you. She's like, I love you. Whatever. I'm not gonna do that. I can't sing right now because I'm losing my voice. I can't sing very well in the first place. Anyway, and that's how the whole musical ends. It's him getting reunited with Penelope and saying, I love you to each other. I give that song infinity. That's all I wrote was infinity, period. I can't show you because my camera's mirrored, so you won't be able to see it. Anyway. And that is Epic the Musical. I'm gonna keep us on this tab while I talk about my thoughts on some things. Epic and lore accuracy. Okay, we're gonna stir up a little drama. No, I'm kidding. Okay, we're not stirring up drama here. Here's just my 2 cents about it, okay? Before we get into whether or not I think Epic should be more lore accurate or not, I would just like to preface this by saying that I have read at least 2 translations of the Odyssey. Most recently, Robert Fitzgerald's, which I have right here. I left my bookmark in it, but I finished reading it. I also read part of it in middle school while I was bored at a summer program because the classroom we were in had a copy of the Odyssey. So I just turned to a random page and started reading. It was when he was on Circe's island or whatever. That's the part I turned to, I think. So I read a bit of that then. I don't know which translation that was. It was just, again, I just picked up a random copy and turned to a page and started reading. And then in high school, I read I read Polyphemus's part because we had to write an essay on it. I don't know which translation that was either. But I've only read it in full once, and that was Robert Fitzgerald's translation. So I kind of know what I'm talking about, but I'm also not an academic or someone who studies the Odyssey or Greek mythology. I'm just a girl with a hyperfixation. But here's what I think, okay? But as someone who has been a fan of musicals for a few years now, here is my 2 cents on whether or not Epic should be more lore accurate or more accurate to the Odyssey, okay? So first of all, Epic is not a one-to-one retelling of the Odyssey, obviously. For example, at least in the translations I've read, Odysseus never fights Poseidon with a jetpack. I've never read that happening. Maybe it does in someone's translation, I don't know. But, yeah, so Epic is not a one-to-one retelling, obviously. And the reason I'm bringing this up is just because I have seen a very, 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 very small, minute group of people get like genuinely angry towards Jorge for some of the changes he made. And I'm not talking like the jetpack or the Winions, but with the overall themes and like major plot points that Jorge took creative liberties with. And the way I see this is that you have to approach Epic the same way you would approach Hamilton. Now, I know everyone always compares Jorge and Lin because they're both genius lyricists and composers and Puerto Rican. That's not why I'm making this analogy, okay? Okay, that's not the comparison we're making here, okay? Nobody watches Hamilton and goes, oh wow, this timeline of events must be exactly what happened in US history, because that would be a little silly, okay? But what people do is, if it piques their interest, they use Hamilton as a starting point for further research. Like they use Hamilton, they're like, oh, this is interesting. I'd like to know more about this point in US history or about this founding father or whatever, and they use it as a starting point for further research. That is the exact same thing we should be doing with Epic the Musical. And I do feel like it might seem silly that I'm talking about this, but I feel very passionately about this, okay? So like basically, right? Hamilton is a musical retelling of Alexander Hamilton's life, mainly through rap, the same way that Epic is a musical retelling of the Odyssey inspired by video games and anime. It's not going to be a one-to-one retelling because it's not meant to be. And if you aren't happy with that, that's perfectly fine. Epic just probably isn't for you. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I am vaguely aware of at least one other musical retelling of the Odyssey, and maybe that'll float your boat a little more. I don't know. I think it's called Penelope. I don't really know anything about it. I've just like had it come up on my For You page like once. However, the problem I do have with this is the fact that I have seen a few people, like seen with my own eyeballs, literally attack Jorge, the Epic team, and people in the fandom for this. And this isn't anything new when it comes to the internet and fandoms in general. There's always people who are gonna do stuff like this. But it's like, you know, and here's the thing, if the Odyssey is something you're like extremely passionate about, I can see why major changes like this can be upsetting. Like, I'm super passionate about stuff, and like when I see changes made to them, I also get really uncomfortable and sometimes upset. But and also, like, it is very important to analyze and critique works and like media and stuff, like, you know, media literacy. Like, it's good to have open discussions about things where you're like, maybe you didn't like how he changed this aspect, whatever. It's fine to like have critiques and to have like discussions about this stuff, but what isn't okay is attacking people. Like, you can't attack the people. Like, don't, it's not okay to attack the people who made it and the people who enjoyed it when no one's harming anyone, okay? And this is just for the internet in general, okay? Like, I feel like it's so stupid when people attack other people for their interests when they aren't literally hurting anyone. Like, we're just here existing and having fun, and then people come in and they just start attacking you, and it's like, okay, you know, like, let's just not do that, please. Anyway, my point is, epic is inaccurate. That's just how musical retellings are. You know, you gotta fit a story into a musical, especially one that's sung all the way through. Like, that's just what happens with musicals and story retellings in general, whether it's a musical or not, okay? So, if you don't like that, that's perfectly fine. Epic just might not be for you. Move on. It's okay. Take a breath, okay? Now. For my saga rankings. We have my saga, oh no, spoilers, okay. We have my saga rankings. I have this ranked from least favorite to most favorite. Hopefully you didn't see the spoilers. Don't be spoiled, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I wanna pull up the backgrounds for each as we go through, okay? First, or last, I guess. So this is my official ranking for the sagas on what I like best. So in last place, in the ninth ranking, we have the Cyclops saga. Now, I like the songs. This is just more of a vibe thing, you know? Again, like, when I was rating the songs, like, you could tell, like, this just isn't my favorite saga. I don't like I like the song Survive, but it's my least favorite song in the musical. It's like a vibe thing. Like, through the song, like, it's just, like, if I was in the car listening to a playlist on shuffle, the songs in Survive are probably going to be the most likely that I skip, other than My Goodbye. So sorry, Polyphemus. Also because Polites dies in this saga, and that's really sad. In next place, in eighth, we have Ocean Saga. Now, we have Ocean Saga. Now, I love Ruthlessness, and I love Keep Your Friends Close, and the other songs are great, but again, if I were listening to it in the car, they're a bit skippable, right? Like, there's other songs I'd rather maybe listen to. I'm not always going to be in the mood to listen to the ones in Storm. Ocean. The Ocean Saga. I keep calling Ocean Storm. I'm not even joking. Like, I always do that. The Ocean Saga. The Ocean Saga is in 8th place. Not the Storm Saga. That's not a thing. So, yeah. Again, vibes. Next, this is where the rankings start to get tricky, okay? Next, in, what is it? 7th place. In 7th place, we have the Troy Saga. This was a very difficult decision to make, okay? I love all of the songs in this. This rank is purely like a vibe thing. Like, I don't even think the songs are like that skippable. They're just, it's just, someone had to go here, you know what I mean? And unfortunately it was Troy. In 6th place, we have Thunder Saga. In 6th place, we have Thunder Saga. Again, I love all the songs in this. It's just that Mutiny is a little bit skippable. Mutiny is just a bit long, and I don't always want to listen to her when I'm listening to a playlist on shuffle, you know what I mean? The only reason why this ranks higher than Troy is because of my bias towards the song Suffering, and also because Scylla slaps so hard. So yeah, again, more of a vibe thing, okay? In ninth, 8th, 7th, 6th, in 5th place, so smack in the middle, in 5th place we have The Underworld. The Underworld and No Longer You slap. I love those songs with my whole soul. Monster also hits, but not as hard. Vibe-wise, I feel like this saga is like perfect to go in the middle of my ranking because like it's just it's just a vibe thing again. This is all a vibe thing, okay? In 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. In 4th place, we have Vengeance Saga. Dangerous and 600 Strike carry the saga for me. I love those songs so much. Charybdis is also just a quick, satisfying song. Get in the Water slaps pretty hard. I'm Not Sorry for Loving You is a little iffy for me. Like I love that song, but like sometimes it's like a bit skippable. But Dangerous and 600 Strike just carry so hard. They're the reason why Vengeance Saga's in 4th place. Next, okay, this is where the ranking got like crazy difficult, okay? Like I think I genuinely sat there for like 10 minutes debating whether like how to rank the last 3 sagas. In 3rd place, we have and yes, I have to position myself every time. Circe Saga. Now, this was very hard because Circe Saga was my favorite saga for the longest time. I love every single song in this saga. Why is it in 3rd? Because who's in 2nd? Who's in 2nd? Wisdom Saga. And Wisdom like barely squeaked past Circe. Like I was flipping between these two for the longest time, okay? It's mainly because of Little Wolf, Will Be Fine, and God Games. I love those songs so much. They are what allowed Wisdom Saga to just barely squeak past Circe Saga. Barely. By like an atom. By like half an atom. And then the world would explode. Anyway. So that leaves in 1st place we have dun 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 dun. And a surprise to no one probably. Ithaca Saga. I'm gonna be so real. This might be recency bias. I finished the Odyssey 2 days before Ithaca Saga was released, so all the stuff that happens in Ithaca Saga I had just read in the Odyssey, so it was all very fresh in my mind. But like I said, I have had Ithaca Saga and the Hadestown London Cast album on repeat every single day. I listen to these two albums religiously, okay? Like, it's just, every song in this saga is so powerful in like its own way, and it's all put together and lined up like so well, and all the little things that it ties in from the rest of the musical, and it's just so beautiful and satisfying. Like it's just such a satisfying way to end the musical, and it feels so good to like listen to the end of it. Like it's just so good. It could honestly also be my love for scummy men getting what they deserve and my addiction to hurt comfort, but that's fine. We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, I love Ithaca Saga so much. And that's the end. That's the end. I think this is the longest I'm going on a tangent we've done. I'm like losing my voice. We're at 2:05. But yeah, that is my thoughts on the things. Thank you for listening to me yap if you are here. Watching the VOD or whatever. Hello, VOD watchers. I love you. Mwah. Non-parasocially. That's weird. I don't know you. I don't actually love you. I don't know you. I'm sorry. Anyway. But yeah, that is my tangent on Epic the Musical. I also want to do a tangent on Hades Town, but that probably won't be for a very long while. Because I have things I need to do and I'm about to get very busy again. I am very busy actually anyway. Whatever. I will be back next Saturday. Like Spider-Man swore, as long as nothing comes up, we will play Mutazione and Sims. Okay, we'll continue the Plumbella challenge. I've barely touched it. Actually, I can't remember where we left off stream, but I don't think I've touched it that much off stream. Yeah. That is all for today. Go listen to Epic the Musical if you haven't. Thank you to Jorge and crew. They're never gonna see this, but thank you to Jorge and crew for making such an amazing musical. I have like half thought about doing a stream goal where I just sing through all of Epic the Musical and I play everybody, but I don't. I'm scared of DMCA, so probably not gonna do that. Anyway, I'm gonna go and not talk for the rest of the day because I'm losing my voice now. Adios, goodbye, good night, whatever. Bye-bye, bye-bye.